All right, guys, welcome to another podcast, NLGE Style Cobras podcast, and it's sponsored to you by Jay Yeti. So, thank you, Jay Yeti, for sponsoring this podcast. We really appreciate your monopoly money. All right, so we'll introduce people. We got Laxmo from the Islanders. We
That's
got
hey.
we got T News from
What up?
Toronto.
What's up, fellas?
And we got NGN from what team is yours?
Detroit.
NGN?
Not Detroit,
Detroit?
you fucking crackhead. Give me Detroit, you fuck.
from Dallas. All right, guys. So we'll cut into it right now. We'll just get into the nitty gritty how the first round went. Islanders, you guys swept Washington. That must have been some pretty intense games. How did that go?
Yeah, I fell asleep before one of the games and woke up just in time. We still won, 14-0.
Or lack of sleep.
Yeah, I still don't think DJ Treason knows the rules. He can leave the game after we score 8, but he just
Yeah, I was kind of wondering. 14.
He did the same thing in the beginning of the season when people kept beating him 13-0, 11-0.
Honestly, GJ is literally one of those guys that will. It's not even so much that he doesn't know the mercy rule, or the sportsmanship rule, as we call it. Probably gonna change that. Sounds a little weird, but he knows the rule, but he always stays in. I don't know why. I think he likes when you beat him hard. Probably something from his childhood, but yeah, no, he always stays in it. So we'll go through. I was hoping by clicking on the stats I'd be able to see the actual stats from the games. I'm going to see this now.
I don't know how that works.
I'll have to check schedule and everything after. But a couple of notable players on your team. Tank, 8 goals. Played 2 games. What a stud. Yo, who's breathing in the mic?
He's plays LG. We met him through X1. He's a good guy.
You met Tank through X1?
Oh no, I thought you said Breezy.
No, Tank. Yo, who's breathing in the mic? I'm going to punch you in the face. No, it's not you. It's Tommy. Tommy, fix that fucking mic.
Why'd you fucking mute me, asshole?
Because I'm trying to figure out whose mic is echoing like a motherfucker. But anyways, who'd you think I was talking about? Breezy?
Yeah, I thought you said Breezy.
I think he's been in this league before. I don't think that this is his first season. But you met him through another league. That's usually how you build a team, meeting a lot of people. Grocery Stick. Do you know what Grocery Stick's former GT was? Because he's on my friends list, but I have no clue what his former GT was.
I think it was Fedorov or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Cool. Get some heavy hitters here. Laxbro, 7 goals, 7 assists. We'll go through the point leaders for the round. We got Breezy, obviously, Jay Yeti, Laxbro, Tank, Deepunzi, and Dodger.
Yeah, that's our defenseman. He scored a hat trick on DJ Treason, off the face-off. DJ was 30 minutes too late to slide over when the guy shot the puck and it was already in the net. It was really funny to watch the replays.
Yeah, I mean, he played in net. Yeah, it's usually does not go too well for DJ when he goes in net. I mean, I remember playing this guy in 15, and 15. No, wait. Yeah, 15 for the 360. Dude would just he had the worst luck when it came. He could shoot it from center ice, and it would somehow trickle in on him. He was the best goalie to play against when they had the drop-in stuff, and you could all get all your friends in there and join a drop-in lobby, and they would just fill in the rest of the spots at randoms.
Yeah.
But all right, moving on. You guys swept them, so good on you. I believe you are playing who next round? You're playing who?
Toronto.
You're playing Toronto. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, they get us next.
So basically another sweep. Just
You never know.
So we go to Buffalo versus New York. Now, New York and Washington were two teams that were added in at the last minute because, unfortunately, with the summer seasons, how they go, they're usually a shit show. It usually comes to the point where we have to drop teams completely because there just isn't enough signups or just not enough interest to get someone to run them, unfortunately. So these two teams made it in by default, although having probably the worst win percentage all season. New York was a team that was run by Bad Mash. Dude's a fucking moron. Horrible CHL stats. I think that's why he quit our league, is to go play there, whatever. I could care less. But Kurdog stepped in, took over the team. He actually beat us a couple times, so I thought the Rangers would probably give Buffalo a tougher time than being swept, but they did also have to forfeit a game due to line restrictions, which sucks. Mm. So now going here, so Buffalo. They lost, two guys? They lost Fred and King Onage.
Yeah.
Just stupid drama, man. Just probably could have been avoided, but I'm not gonna talk for who's right, who's wrong, but it's just stupidness to lose two of your best players right before playoffs. Go in here, look at the stats for Buffalo.
That's very difficult timing for them.
Sorry?
No, I was just saying that's terrible timing for Buffalo to lose two of your active players to something stupid.
All right, here we go. Who we got here? So everyone's kind of played here with a sweep. There's not going to be too many games played, but you got Banana Selection with 6 points. Gaddam with 7 points. Simps, who's a defenseman, with 4 points. So they're doing pretty good. Had a pretty good first round. Are you guys interested at all on the losing team stats? I mean, should we check them? I'm not. Probably not. I mean, I'd hate to bring up Washington stats.
You should.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys want to see Washington? All right,
Yeah.
fine. Just for shits and giggles, we're gonna look at Washington. Loading screen. All right, Washington Capitals. Also, the reason we have logos for the last couple seasons is because Pucka Nuts. So, yeah, it's all good. Thanks for I'm pretty sure he's gonna appreciate that. Yeah, -3, -10, -10, -7, -7. DJ Treason with a solid 14 goals against average. That's bad. It's bad. I mean, fuck. That sucks. But I'm sure they put up a fight like maybe one of those games.
Yeah, they had a couple decent shots out of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They didn't even play a full roster. So even if they won a game, it'd probably be a forfeit.
I think DJ
Or
Treason played all 4 games. Someone said on my team.
Yeah, I guarantee it. I guess DJ doesn't understand the new playoff rule either. Get your head in the game, bro. Reloading. All right. Tampa Bay versus Boston. Okay, moving on. Pittsburgh versus Toronto. No, on a serious note, Cormier is a great player. Jim's a great player. I know most of the guys on that team. I've played with them before in different leagues. In IOHL a couple seasons back. We'll check their stats. Obviously, some of the games are close. Our team's really. I mean, some of them we just lost the last second with a couple quick goals and just shitty luck, shitty bounces. But no, they played great. What we got here? That Mike. Did we lose NGN?
Yeah,
Is he coming back or he left?
I don't know.
Okay, moving on. Sweet. I guess he didn't like us talking about Boston. Cormier, yeah, look at that, leading the team of points. He fucking whooped our ass anytime he played us. Hanzo, aka Fizz, also did really good. Kuz, which we always have a little joke on Arc about Beavers, but that's an inside thing. Yeah, they played good. They outplayed us. At the end of the day, it was a good series. Whether how it ended, which was not, a lot of the guys were tapped out and couldn't play a third game, including myself. It just is what it is. We have to forfeit the last game, but I think they would have kicked their ass anyways. They played good all series, so I'm not just a shit show on fucking Tampa. So I'm kind of glad it's over. To relax for the next couple months. Contemplating never playing in any other league ever again. At least not owning for a while, that's for sure. A lot of drama, a lot of head cases you got to deal with. Pittsburgh and Toronto. I think the only series that actually went to Game 7.
Yes, it was.
All right, Team News, break down that series for us, bud.
All right, hopefully my microphone will work a little bit better. But no, it was a tough series. Pittsburgh won the first game, and we came out in Game 2 and got an 8-1 win. Kind of took some momentum from that. Got up 3-1. Pittsburgh came back, won the next two and forced the Game 7. And I don't know, we were able to come out with the win, 4-1. It was 1-1 going into the third, so it was neck and neck all the way till the very end. I mean, Pittsburgh played great. I think our offense just had a little bit more than they could handle, really, at the end of the day.
And what team? Who runs?
Pittsburgh, Spliff and Rum.
Spliff and Rum, yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, Spliff and King and Zontes. They did a good job. I mean, from what I understand, they didn't start the season very well. They came on towards the end. I think everybody kind of thought it was going to be Tampa Bay and us, including myself. But Pittsburgh snuck up there and gave us a fight all the way to the end. Like I said, they played great.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. So we'll dive into the stats here for Toronto here.
Oh yeah, we don't really have. I wouldn't say we really have a first line. We just have two lines that we think are equally as capable. But we do have. I think when I checked, we had 4 of the 5 top goals per game leaders. We got a lot of guys that there were some good stats. Our offense really produced the series. We stayed out of the box, which was big. And so, I mean, even I didn't score all season, but I managed to score 3 in the series. So, took care of it when it counted.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So you guys don't really have a top line. It's just kind of like everyone pitches in.
I would say we have a number one line. Like I said, we like both our lines. We rolled with Seabass and Blunter and Sebi, who we got from the Islanders. Been a great fit. And then our second line, if you want to call it that, we picked. We did have a tough go. We didn't know what we were going to do because with the second line, whatever you call it, is OMG Viper and Rick James, who's been phenomenal. And for the whole season, since I've been there, it's been in your face. And I found out, I guess, maybe a week before the playoffs went on, that he was going away starting Sunday for 3 weeks. So we ended up having to replace him with a guy that got assigned, the last guy that got assigned, actually, Lane 29. And he stepped in and did a phenomenal job, really. So, I mean, we're pretty confident going into the New York series, but we know we got a freaking tough battle ahead of us. I mean, they're a freaking tough team, and we're going to have to really play some serious defense to overcome the next round.
Yeah, I know you're not really a stat guy. You're more of a what you see on the ice kind of thing. Who would you say is by far probably played the best on your team as of right now?
It's tough to say because I mean, probably early on in the season, I'd say it was the Sebi, Steve Bass, and Blunter line. But when it came down to it, we ended up having to use Rick James and Lane and OMG in Game 7 just because of the way availability shook out. So, it's everybody's up there stat-wise. If you look at the stats, again, not being a stats guy, but if you look at the stats, we may not have a superstar, but we got a lot of guys that are up there. So I don't know that you can really name one person per se. We try to take it as a team effort. Frost did a great job in net as always. And we picked up Segas, so we think we have 2 quality number 1 goaltenders, so you can't go wrong. We'll see what we can do against New York, though.
All right. Good shit. All right, moving on to the West. I mean, your guys' predictions, I'll be honest, I didn't really watch the first podcast that much for the playoff. I was more or less just joking. Earlier, I'll be honest, I watched probably like 30 seconds of the podcast and like, I had to go do something. So, but I like, how did your predictions fall in line with how the first round ended? Were you guys like bang on or lax? What do you think?
I think every team that like we chose to win won. So not like the games. I think I was off by like a few games, but every team that I thought was gonna win won. So I guess that's a good thing.
So, did you think Tampa was going to get swept?
I think I had you guys losing in 6.
Oh, that's not.
I think I ended up picking Chicago, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Yeah, I was reminded of that. But I didn't count out St. Louis, but I just had a feeling that Chicago was going to win, so I was wrong there. And then I also had a feeling that Kong might be able to pull through in the first round, which I was wrong there too. So mine weren't bang on by any stretch.
See, the thing with LA, and I actually got a chance to get into the party after the game. A lot of mixed emotions, a lot of angry players. I'm not going to call out names, but definitely an upsetting loss. And I think the consensus was that Nasty himself puts too much pressure on him. Like the dude, Nasty's been around the league for a long time. He's put up numbers. He's won awards. He's done all that. Kudos. He's never been on a Stanley Cup team, and I think with the line with Legacy and Nasty was probably his better chance. I thought that LA would win over Colorado. I think not a lot of for me particularly, and I've been around for a while, but not a lot of names like Colorado that I know. So I didn't really expect too much out of them other than they've had a pretty good season. So I thought, with Legacy and Nasty in the line, and the fact that Kong knows the playoff rules and would max out and get them to play at least 4 games, and in Game 7 they would take it, but apparently Nasty puts too much pressure on himself, and just didn't perform in Game 7, and now Colorado advances.
Did you watch the
But
game?
I mean, that's fine. Pardon?
Did you watch the game?
No. I did not get a chance to watch the game. I only got a chance to catch the aftermath.
Yeah, like we're all like Yeti, a few guys on our team, and a bunch of Anaheim guys were in a party together, and like just Nasty was like screaming like a banshee the whole game, and it was just like hard to watch. Like I felt bad for them that they had to deal with that, knowing that like
Well, that would explain the couple of pissed off people there at the end, but
yeah, like
I had no
I
idea.
remember when we faced St. Louis, like in the beginning of the season, I played with Nasty, and he was just like screaming the whole game, like nitpicking everyone. And I was like, I don't know how anyone else can deal with this. And then I felt bad for like Bearscorn and like whoever that other defenseman was, because he was just ripping them apart that whole game. It was funny, but like it was a little depressing.
Yeah, to give Nasty some credit, he did come out after he lost the game and did give kudos to you guys at the Islanders.
Yeah.
And kind of hope. Yeah, and did you see that? It was in the chat box.
Yeah, I saw it. He did score 4 goals in that game, in that final game. So, like, I don't know what the problem is, but like, he's a good guy. Like, I would still talk to him if he would respond to me.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so I think we kind of summed up the LA Colorado series. Why it still says 3-2, I don't understand. I'll have to fix that. That must be an error. I don't know why it's like that. Anyways, let's see here. You got San Jose and Anaheim. Anaheim sweeps Neil Rambo, who's already applied for ownership for next season. And surprisingly, I didn't have to blacklist him this season. And actually, managed to run a decent team, other than like the couple days that he went on vacation and his whole team fell apart. But other than that, he actually did a pretty good job. But then again, he played Anaheim, which is, for the Islanders, I think you guys are gonna have a tough time. And not discount GT News, but I think you're gonna have a tough time with with Buffalo, but I think you will beat Buffalo just because their depth is lacking. But I think, in the finals, when you play a team like Anaheim and St. Louis, and I'm not 100% sure what your record throughout the season has been against those teams, whether it's good, positive, or just kind of like meet them in the middle. Sorry. Those are going to be tough teams to play. Definitely.
Yeah.
Dallas is a decent team. I think a lot of people count NGN out, but he could also he's run a pretty decent team this season, and maybe he'll surprise some people.
Yeah, we went 0-2 against Anaheim, and I think they were both really close games. Went 2-0 against Dallas, and then 1-1 against St. Louis. So didn't really face the West that much. Yeah, they're really good.
Team. I mean, they're another team I think that just they don't have a lot of superstars. The guys that are putting up monster numbers, but they have I think 3 in the top 10 or top 15 in point getters. Their consistency's all around. It's kind of like I was saying with Toronto. Like we don't have a superstar. We got really good guys, and I think Anaheim's the same way. You got Coates at center, who's a really good center, has been in NLG for a long time. You got Pac-Man that's there. You got Chicharito, 92, I think it is, because there's a couple of them. And I know as a defenseman, he's a friggin' pain in the ass to have to try to defend. So, and then you have the artist formerly known as Mandata. I mean, you got a lot of guys on that team that really can cause any team headaches. So, kind of like we have with New York coming up, whoever goes against Anaheim next round is really going to have their hands full. And I didn't even mention, Killzone sitting in the net. He's done a phenomenal job.
Killzone's been remarkably quiet this season then, because I haven't heard him in the chat box at all, unless he's still banned. I don't know about that.
Did I say the word? It was Killzone, right?
I think it's Killtown.
Yeah, Killtown. It's Killtown. My fault.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Because Killzone, if he was playing this season, I would have heard him, but I would have seen him talking shit in the chat box or something like that. Like, if he was playing all season and didn't say one thing, that'd be a miracle to me. I mean, he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, but he likes to chirp in the chat box a lot.
That's what threw me off. That's what made me realize I wasn't talking about the right person, because Killtown is not that type of guy. He's not a shit talker. So that's what threw me off and made me realize I screwed up.
We'll look at the so I guess we'll talk about the Dallas-Vancouver series. That one is actually a little bit more interesting than anyone actually knows because there was a whole bunch of controversy. There's actually a bunch of controversy in the West. Well, we'll start with Vancouver and Dallas. A lot of accusations of overusage of the wraps. Then there was something about lines that we corrected. And just a bunch of weird shit that we had to deal with at the end of that series. But Dallas won, and going forward, I would caution Dallas in how many wraps they use, because if this becomes a continuous problem, then and we get like video evidence on it and not just like the reports of it, then this could lead to suspensions and hamper your team. Definitely.
It's rough.
And then the next team was Chicago and St. Louis, and I get crazy kind of got mad at me because I let the cat out of the bag, but there were some accusations of lines or some shit like that. I'm not 100% sure what was actually going on there, but there's some controversy about St. Louis's lines, which were perfectly fine. I think they had to replace a goalie because someone drove into his house.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, of all the excuses you could possibly hear running.
Did you say they thought somebody drove to his house?
Yeah. I think it was Friday. He couldn't play because someone had drove a car to his house. So.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard that one yet.
Interesting to say the least. But no, St. Louis sweeps Chicago 4-0. And I think Speedy wanted to talk to me. I think he messaged Kong. He was like, "This league is rigged." I guess it's rigged for skill. And in the end, you got to perform. If you don't, you lose. I mean, it's just that simple.
It happens.
Yeah. Okay, We didn't really dive into too many things. That's talking. So we'll take a look at St. Louis.
If Chicago had a question about the lines, though, I don't fault them for asking. I mean, the rules are there for a reason. And,
Yeah, I
I mean, as an owner or as team management, if a player brings up an issue to you and you ignore it, then you're going to get shit from your players. So, I mean, I got, something came up in our series where, I looked into it. It didn't turn into anything, but the bottom line is if I hadn't, then my players would be pissed off. So, you know what? And the rules are there for a reason. If somebody violated the rules, by all means, investigate it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't mean Chicago thought. I mean, in this one particular instance, doesn't necessarily mean Chicago was on a vendetta or accusing St. Louis of cheating. They're just saying, hey, they thought something was inappropriate and against the rules. It's not, it's nothing to flip out about. I mean, because I don't give a shit. If somebody wants to look at my lines, fine. Because if I violated the rules, I should pay for it. But the bottom line is, I believe I do the rules. I followed them as best I knew them. If I did make a mistake and violate the rules, then you know what? I should be called out for it. So I'll blame them.
Yeah, but see, no, I agree with that 100%. I've even said it. Look, you got to do as an owner what's best for your team. If you see a possible situation in which you could turn things from worse to better to help your team in the situation you're in advance of the next round, sure, you're entitled to do that, but don't sugarcoat it. Don't be like, well, I'm not trying to get a forfeit. I'm not, because see, it's one thing to bring up issues before a game starts, and it's a completely another thing to bring up issues a day after the game and lost both games.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't fault Crazy or Speedy or Dave for asking the questions, but to say that they weren't trying to get a game overturned and try to play the, well, we just want to make sure they're following the rules kind of thing, try to play goody-goody. Like, look, I understand where you're coming from. I understand any team where you're coming from, but don't sugarcoat it. Don't try to bullshit a bullshitter. Like, I'm going to see that shit. Like, it's that simple. I've been around this league long enough. I've been around leagues long enough to see what I see and know what I know. And that's what he didn't like. And, it is what it is. St. Louis got upset, sent some messages over, and then it blew up and what it needs to be.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, if you win the game, if you end up winning the game, it's easy to say, you know what, I'm going to overlook that. Of course, when you lose, that's where you're going to look for the deficiencies. So, and the bottom line is, the deficiency is going to equal a forfeit. So, yeah, you might be able to say, I'm not overtly looking for the forfeit win, but at the end of the day, that is what you're looking for.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just human nature.
Teams overlook stuff every time they win. Every time they'll overlook things like lines, or maybe they'll see something like, okay, you know how many times I've been in a game where it's like they'll look at like, even the first game we played, my teammate is saying to me, relax, you got some skins like this down there.
What?
Someone's watching something in the background.
That's my mom watching TV.
Okay, alright, cool.
Commercial. I remember.
I'll give you an example. First game we played in the series where we played against Bad Match, one guy noticed the gamer tag that was incorrect. It's just a new gamer tag, and we picked up on it, and a couple of the guys are saying, well, don't say anything unless we win. No, unless we blah blah blah. And I'm like, no. I started messaging him right away before the game even started. Hey, bud, what's up with this gamer tag? Right before it even started, because I'm not like that. You know what I mean? But that's how most teams think, and I can't really change it because I don't have eyes on everyone all the time. But you're right, teams. That's usually how it is. All right. Sorry, this shit is taking way too long to load. Yeah, damn.
Nah, I mean, just like you're saying, I mean, I'll put some filler in until your thing loads, but I mean, something came up too about the stats. They're supposed to be in by a certain time, and I don't know. I mean, the rules are the rules, but at the same time, you don't want to win that way. You certainly don't want to lose that way. I want to win or lose it on the ice.
No, I'll be honest. I'm glad you brought that up. With the playoff rules, when it comes to stats, we have always been lenient when it comes to the playoffs about stats because we've never declared a forfeit win over stats not being entered on time. Like sometimes stats don't get entered. Sometimes this team loses, they don't enter stats. And sometimes, the winning team takes a little longer to enter stats, or sometimes, or even better yet, how many times I've heard of teams entering stats, and I've had the case happen to me too, where you save it, you go, whatever, you exit, you go do your own thing, you come back the next day, and your stats are not in there. So there's sometimes glitches with my stats. You gotta understand that. So I mean, like I said, we've always been lenient with playoff stats. It's never really been a huge issue. I mean, in the end, you know who wins, unless it's like a line violation or a GT change not processed or something along those lines. I mean, that's pretty much how we handle it.
That's good. I mean, like I said, a series, a game should be decided that way, much less a playoff series.
Fuck, how many people get pissed off about getting forfeits for line violations or GT changes? You're gonna start giving them forfeits because stats aren't in. Oh my god! It'll be blood in the water. Blood in the water.
And too, since we're speaking to these kind of things, I mean, I was a little incredulous that a topic was even brought up by a team for the league to give them a goal because EA had called it off. I mean, I'm sorry, I know it's tongue in cheek as I usually am, but are the EA refs going to start calling the NLG commissioners to when they go to get the phone on the side of the ice or what? I mean, if EA says it's not a goal, it's not a goal.
We should look into that feature for next year.
I don't know. I just thought that was a little crazy. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's EA. I mean, shit happens all the time during the games that I hate, but it's EA.
Yeah. All right. So now we're into the next week's matchups. We'll look at this real quick. Lead save percentage is San Jose's goalie, but unfortunately he's out. Dallas has their goalie leading with 2 shutouts and 3 wins in the series in the playoffs so far. And goals against average is Frisky Beaver. This is the leaders for goals. You got Breezy leading the points, Nasty leading goals, which will change next season. You got Chislett from St. Louis leading in plus-minus, and then Breezy's also leading in assists. So good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, Toronto Islanders, I think we already covered. But I know you guys are kind of like on separate thing, but I mean, where do you see this series going? I'm gonna say Islanders in 5 because I'll give you the benefit of 1 win, team.
I appreciate that. That's nice. You can start.
What do you think, Max?
It's gonna be tough. Like that one game that you guys beat us in overtime with like that really long game. It was like an hour and 10 minutes with all the lag outs. Like I don't want that to happen again. And then like we faced you the last week of the season. I think we beat you by a bunch, but like it can go either way any day. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Like I think during the season, like we almost lost to like Washington, so like you never know. But like I'm hoping for like us in 5. Yeah, I'm gonna say us in 5.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a hard series for us. I mean, I've been the few podcasts we've done, or when I've looked at the stats. I mean, New York has some pretty phenomenal stats. The stats that always stood out to me about the Islanders was their goals for and their goals against. The goals for are really high, the goals against are really low. So that means not only are they putting up the points, which I think people expect with players like the Laxbro and Yeti, and Nasty when he was there. I think people expected that, but who would have also expected the fact that they have some pretty stellar defense also and pretty stellar goalie. So, the plus minus and the goal differential is always what stood out to me against the Islanders. I mean, I think that we can, we have the capability to match up with them offensively. I think where the key part of this series for us is going to be, can we play consistent defense and not make these mistakes? I mean, against a team as good as the Islanders, you have to cut down the mistakes. If you give them too many opportunities, they're gonna capitalize. Lax and Yeti are always there to cop on your mistakes if you make them. So if you cut out those mistakes, I think we can hang with them. Now, whether or not we can get over the top on them, that'll wait to be seen. I mean, if we can take the series, I wouldn't be surprised if it has to go to a Game 6 or maybe even a Game 7. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that we have any thought that it's going to be easy, because it's not. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we're going to sweep them in 4, because it's probably not going to happen. You never say never, but it should be a great series. I think a lot of these series that are coming up this round are going to be really good series. We had in the East, you had the 1 through 4 teams all advanced, which is tough, because we were kind of hoping that let somebody else deal with the Islanders and we'll deal with them later if we have to. But that's us, and that's where we're going to stand. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if the Islanders take it. They're a quality team. They definitely deserve to be there. But we're going to do everything we can to take them out.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it should be.
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
Boston and Buffalo, where do you guys see this series going?
I want Boston to win.
You want them to win, or you think they're going to win?
Both.
Both.
I think that Cormier line is pretty good. I haven't seen Hanzo or Fizz play forward. I've only seen him play defense. But they have a good starting 6, and that's tough to find. We don't even really have a starting 6 yet. But I just really hate Roman Helmet, so I want him to lose.
Okay. I mean, what do you see the series going?
4-2 Boston.
I can get around that. I mean, I think it's going to be a good series. I think the teams match up pretty well against each other. Like you said, Boston's got a good line. Cormier's been around the league for a long time. He's a really good center. He wins a lot of faceoffs. I think Fizz is a great player no matter where he's sitting on the ice. Jim got an Xbox. He's a good player and a good guy too. And I know they have Frisky Beaver also. So I mean, I'm not sure how much he's playing, but I mean, he's dangerous in net. I think Buffalo's going to have, like we talked about earlier, there's 2 guys quitting on them late, regardless of whether they're great players, bad players, they're great guys or not bad guys, whatever. To lose 2 of your main roster players is tough. And I think that's going to, it could cost Buffalo. I think that in the long run, it's going to be difficult for them to hang with Boston, especially defensively. Because don't have Fred, he's a good defenseman. Again, regardless of what you may say about him, he's a really good defenseman. And I think that's where they might get caught on the defensive end. Yeah, so I could see Boston taking it 4-2 also. But I'm not going to count Buffalo out at the same token. I mean, they can do it, but do they have the depth?
What do you guys think of Colorado and Anaheim?
That's going to be another good one.
It should be a good one. I mean, kind of like you were saying, and I think the reason I wasn't so sure about Colorado taking the last round was the fact that there's not a really household names, if you will. They don't have really a lot of recognizable guys. I mean, I know some Fat Geezer, he's a great player. They got Mr. Creed, great player. They have a lot of good players, but they haven't been around a long time, and I don't know how much playoff experience they have or the management has. And plus, I'm a big fan of Anaheim. I think Anaheim put together a phenomenal team from top to bottom. They're just really good all around. I can see Anaheim taking it out in 6, say 4-2. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it goes 5, but most likely I can see Anaheim taking it 4-2. But Colorado's going to be involved. I don't know what you think, Lax.
Yeah, I agree. I could see it going in 5, but I feel like all 4 of these series are gonna go like 5-6. Like I don't think there's gonna be any sweeps. I think like more of the games are gonna go to six games than like 5.
I think it goes to Game 7 and Anaheim takes it.
I can see it.
I mean, Colorado just had to go twice in overtime with LA. I don't know. Could they be spent from those overtime games? I don't know. See? Game 7?
St. Louis and Dallas. I'm going to go ahead and start first on this one. St. Louis sweeps Dallas. Okay. You guys go.
Really? I can see St. Louis winning. I don't know that I want to pick against them again. I think NGN will probably get mad at me for saying that, but St. Louis has been to the playoffs before. They have management that have prevailed in the playoffs before. They have a lot of experienced players. And forgive me if any of these guys are not on the team now, but, you know, you got Howie there, you got Chislett, you got Haxby, you got Squid. Those guys have been through this before. This is second nature to them. You know, Dallas has Johnny Five-Hole, my buddy. Not bad for a scrub in Toronto, huh? But anyway, you got Johnny Five-Hole, you got NGN, who's put up a lot of good points. They got some pretty good defensive players there. So, I mean, I think Dallas can hang with them. And, you know, would I be surprised if Dallas wins? Not really. I think they could go toe-to-toe, but I think St. Louis is going to take it. I don't know if I'm going to say St. Louis is going to sweep, but I can see St. Louis taking that in 6, maybe even a Game 7.
Dallas in 7, you said?
No, I said St. Louis.
Oh.
and probably in 6 games, but I could see it going 7.
See it. Yeah.
And I don't know, Lax. One of your players might be giving us a bulletin board material. You know, he's my buddy, so he's chirping me a little bit, but that's all right. You know, I'm going to put up on the bulletin board for our series.
Yeah, I just saw that.
All right. I think that sums up the last round, sums up the next round. I think we've gone over point leaders. Anything else anyone wants to touch up on this podcast, or are we good to go?
Not really.
How about we talk about throwing Jay Eddie's retirement party?
Oh.
What?
Good luck to everybody in the next year.
Balloons, a clown, colorful cake. We're gonna have Dora plates. This is not.
I might go for that.
All right. Thank you all for watching the NLGE podcast. Again, sponsored to you by Jay Yeti's Monopoly Money, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.